A little bit, bud.
Unfortunately.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. This is the ROH post show for May 11th. We're back in Orlando, back in the studio as God intended with Ring of Honor, Reg. I think this is so much better. And the only way it could be made any better is by all of you wonderful people out there who are joining us for our post show. So please get in those super chats, get in those humper chats to get your question or statement read on air. You can also support us at twitch.tv/FightfulGaming. I know we started a few minutes late. Thank you for bearing with us as I figured out what the heck was going on with StreamYard, but we are underway. We're also going to remind you to leave a thumbs up on this video, the best free way to support us. And we're going to remind you to go ahead and subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Breaking news over there about who CM Punk pitched to be a first potential opponent out the gate. A lot better than some of the other rumors I heard. I will take that. Some of it has Ring of Honor significance. If you want like a little hint, nudge, who it might be. Plenty more happening over there at Fightful Select. We've got so much great wrestling coming up. But who better to talk about what's going on tonight with than Reg? Reg, what's going
on? Not too much. A very great Ring of Honor show to be back with. Very excited to talk about this show. Not being in the studio and then being in the studio, it's like night and day. The crowd, the matches, the flow of the show, everything involved here is just way different than what we've been seeing in these past weeks. So I'm excited about this, not excited about what could happen in the future with this. So yes, that's another thing for another day, though. We're here to talk about Ring of Honor, baby. How are you today, Kate?
I am doing well. It's been a long couple weeks, I'm not going to lie, but ROH being back on my, I was going to say TV, but TV via streaming service.
I saw somebody giving you shit on Twitter already about that saying on TV instead of
I know, but it was on my TV technically. It was just via the old AirPlay, but really, really strong episode tonight. I don't know if it's the energy of the crowd. I mean, it's definitely better than like 14 really tired people after a full Dynamite. But it just feels like they are most at the authentic ROH style in these studio settings.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And the booking was back on track. Like not a lot of like interference spots like we were getting. It didn't feel like they were just throwing everybody who was an AEW locker room leftover out there like we were seeing with random best friends spots. Like
not at all.
This all day. Really, really fun. Your thoughts overall? I think we were both in agreement that it was better. Anything other than the crowd off the top of your head? I know we were back at a longer format too. We were closer to 2 hours again.
Overall I think this episode focused more on like the big guys, the heavy hitters. It kind of was a change of pace from what we've been seeing, and I think in a good way, because I think for the past couple of weeks, the big heavy-handed Shane Taylor types have been kind of missing, and this episode kind of focused on the House Boys. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Of course, there was definitely some spot foo in here we'll get to later. So yeah, you know what time it is.
Well, it was a little bit of everything for Rich today. Speaking of those Ring of Honor talents that we were familiar with and them not working, there's also updates on Fightful Select on some of your favorites, including Shane Taylor. I think Cheeseburger was involved in that, LSG. So go to FightfulSelect.com, read about them. You can see their contract updates and their status with Ring of Honor, but we are going to dive into it because you know what, Reg? Last time we were playing Mad Libs to kill time, but this week we filled the entire 2 hours, which means we got more to review. So we are gonna get going.
No time filling the night.
No. I'm gonna say probably no Mad Libs. We never know what's gonna happen when Cresta comes on, but I'm gonna say probably no Mad Libs. But I do know that we start with Shane Taylor, who you just mentioned, and Mark Briscoe in a hard-hitting opener that we got here. Really fun way to start off the show. I love Mark Briscoe, man. Like the Briscoes always felt so unrepeatable to me, and seeing Mark tonight, one thing that I feel like he does really well is his in-ring trash talk. Like it's fun, but some of it just more seems like very authentically like when you're talking to yourself. I love that. I don't feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people in wrestling do that. Like, you'll see people be like, "Oh shit," or whatever, but like the way that he like is talking in the ring, a lot of times it's like that pumping yourself up chat that intimate chat that you have with yourself. And Shane Taylor's just talking shit out there. So
Yeah.
I really liked that combination here. Very hard hitting, some really stiff chops, some really thrown punches in there. Couldn't believe that Mark Briscoe got Shane Taylor up for that J Driller. Impressive stuff. What did you think of our opener?
I loved it. There were so many great elements, I think, to this match. Both of them got to shine. Shane Taylor is like, if you have him on the show, it's a brawl, it's a fight, it's hard hitting. You're gonna elbow each other back and forth, but his elbows are gonna hit a lot harder. And Mark Briscoe is great in every element, but matches like this, he always shines because this is a Briscoe's type brawl here. You know, the essence of Jay was out here. Taylor said some things about Jay, said, I didn't beat your brother up before. I'm like, whoa, we're starting out crazy out here. We're jumping right out the window. I see what's going on here. But Mark Briscoe laughed it off. There was some very angry every time that Shane Taylor's on the screen, he wants to show that he should be on the screen every time, like he wrestles with something to prove. And he brought everything he brought here. The Marcus Garvey driver was just violent. It's like, is Mark Briscoe, are you okay? Help him up, get him out of here. But yeah, that J Driller finisher that Mark Briscoe hit looked like just a thing of beauty. And they told the story of Jay not being able to hit it in the match with Shane Taylor that they had previously. Connected that story here. Really great stuff. Afterwards, Mark Briscoe said that, Samoa Joe, I'm still coming for you, bro. Don't think I forgot about that television championship. It's on. I love it. Yeah, just Mark Briscoe starting the show and then bringing this Hoss fight. What more could you ask for?
Agreed. It's interesting because I think we had spent actually a lot of time talking about what's next. What's next for Samoa Joe after Mark Briscoe? What's next for Claudio after Eddie Kingston? I'm not convinced that either of those guys have moved on from either of their feuds after some of what
It
we've
doesn't
seen.
seem like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, go to FightfulSelect.com if you'll see some things about Samoa Joe and what might be in his future. But this was a super fun opener. To your point, we did have the GOAT of commentary. We had Caprice, we had Ian Riccaboni, and we had Nigel. Just like such a well-balanced desk. And I have a lot of flowers to give to them this entire episode and all the time because they are just my favorite. But we've got some super chats and humper chats to read. CO asking, completely unrelated to anything, have you ever had a tweet that you liked and regretted it? I can't think of anybody that might have had that happen today.
So that's what we're doing. We're not talking about Ring of Honor. We're talking about.
It was a general question. Okay. I have liked tweets that I've regretted. Maybe not in the same nature that some other people have liked tweets, perhaps that happened earlier today, but we're all human beings. We all have our proclivities. We're not here to shame anyone, but I think some people don't realize perhaps that your likes are a public facing thing and that anybody can see them.
You know how many times this redacted person has been hit in the head with the chair? If you ever seen ECW, this redacted boys tag team, they were getting hit in the head with chairs by Balls Mahoney very hard, like full on, all the way. Concussion City, and he's the mayor. This guy's been hit in the head a lot. He's been dropped off very high ladders against Jeff Hardy. I'm not saying these people's names. I'm just, this person is redacted, though. Let my OG get his shit off is where I'm leaving with this. It's weird and stuff that, Twitter can see everything that you like and your kinks could be on display. But man, come on. It's redacted boys person. Shout out to him.
You know what? He's great. And sometimes you just gotta enjoy yourself. Everybody's
you just gotta get the tables.
You gotta get the tables, and you gotta, we're all just trying to find a little bit of joy in this life. That's all. That's all it is. Someone else, People are putting content on the internet. You want to be supportive, you go and you like a tweet or two.
How do you support, Kate? There's only one way to support. One
That's
big
it.
like. I mean, there's a couple ways to support, but
Well,
like,
here at Fightful, you can go to Fightful Select. You could leave a thumbs up.
Many
you could send
ways.
a super chat. But on Twitter, you just
but on Twitter, if you're just
likes and retweets,
I like this. This is cool.
I think Devon to move on from this. We're gonna move Devon from that. We got some more love coming in from you guys. Ronald Hogg saying, like Frank Costanza returning to cooking on Seinfeld, ROH is back, baby.
Yes.
I love it.
That's
I love it. Yeah, this was a very reaffirming episode for the product. I was relieved, not just the energy of the studio and like a more robust episode, but it just felt like the days of yore. It felt like it had that clean booking, not a lot of gimmicky promo-y stuff, not a lot of senseless booking.
No one's tired.
Finishing. Nobody's tired.
Most important
including
thing.
us. Yeah, I think it's good. Some love coming in for Nigel, of course. Nigel, he said he trademarked his name to prevent Prince Nana from selling his likeness on commentary. My God.
Shout out to Nigel. And also, Nigel, what's up? We know about that.
Coy Stalling saying, can we get Nigel as commentator for Collision? If
Great
not,
idea.
who do y'all expect? This is a really good question. Rhett, I'll throw it to you first.
I do like Nigel on commentary. The Saturday show, they're trying to make some separation. You probably don't want to have Excalibur, Taz, or Tony Schiavone. Ian, let's have this Ring of Honor guys over there because they do a wonderful job over here in Ring of Honor. Just send all three of them over there. We'll make some separation and all will be well. I haven't thought about it. If they like bring in somebody from the outside, they like to do the wrestler, the current or not active wrestler, but sometimes they're active wrestlers in that role. So it really could be anybody.
I think if you're going to have someone swing from both shows, Taz is the guy. He's just so valuable and brings such a valuable perspective and has chemistry with seemingly everyone. An Ian Riccaboni. I mean, I love Ian and Caprice together, so never break that up. But I am intrigued about an Ian Riccaboni and Taz commentary duo. I think that could be really fun because Ian's so great on the play-by-play. Kevin Kelly is locked up, but man, if I could pick anybody else that's out there right now, I would be stealing from New Japan. And I will scream until the ends of the earth to please bring in Veda Scott. Yeah. I think she's great.
I don't know how long the homie Tom from Impact is locked down, our Impact post-show friends, but he's an amazing commentator. And if possible, I mean, how much money you want, bro? Come over here and do your thing. Because I think he's one of the best commentators in all of wrestling, and I don't understand all the time why WWE let him go.
I don't think they know, but I'm loving all the love for Veda Scott.
Oh yeah, Veda Scott would be super awesome too. She's great.
Hell yeah. Another really fun women's voice if you are not watching so much on the indies. Alyssa, I don't know if is it Alyssa Marino, I think her name is. Holy cow, is she's ever great. So skilled. She has that same thing that Renee has. I feel like that Renee has of like all of her reactions are just extremely authentic. Like if something happens over there, they're distracted by it. Like it's not so they're not locked into a box. So yeah, I would love to see a woman get on television in that role, of course.
Yeah, let's do that.
But let's rock and roll with that. Yeah. Good question. I didn't think about commentary and those things. Hopefully we get some very competent refs on Collision. That would make me very happy.
One of the matches here we're going to talk about went off the rails after the finish. So
yes, no. We're going to move along to Claudio Castagnoli and a mystery opponent. It was Wheeler Yuta versus Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus. I think that Wheeler Yuta's a very logical choice here.
Yeah,
I really feel like, man, they had a really fun wrinkle they could have introduced with Takeshita. Like Wheeler getting pissed about it because Takeshita gets chosen, but I also just selfishly really wanted to see see Takeshita and Claudio versus these two. But this made total sense. I loved Caprice playing up the fact that a mystery opponent is an angle because your opponents can't prepare.
Yep.
Really nice piece of commentary here. But Yuta taking the low road. We get an eye poke and a splash, an assist from Claudio on the win here. Of course, honor is real because Wheeler and Claudio shake their own hands, which I thought was a very fun touch. Some more love for the ladies of wrestling in the chat. Ref Gina making an appearance here. I love seeing my women's referees too. Very, very happy to see her in the mix here at ROH. Great stuff. What were your thoughts?
Fun. I liked Claudio being angry dad on the apron. He was on the apron and he'd get really angry and he'd be like, "Come and tag me in, son." Tell Yuta to get out, and then he'd go in, do his little thing, wrap somebody up, tag back out, get back on the apron, get angry again, all over again. Angry dad again, watching his son not hit the winning soccer goal. So he goes in and takes matters into his own hands again, just kept getting angrier and angrier. And the story of Claudio just being like, "You're disgracing me in this ring, Yuta. Don't let these boys tie you up. We're BCC," was a great way to tell the story. On the other side of this match, though, I thought that Hot Sauce and Titus were on fire. Specifically, Hot Sauce. He did some combinations in here. He did like that gotch style slam thing at the beginning of the match that I was like, yo, that's really dope. And I thought he really shined here in this match. He was really getting his shit off. And Yuta just playing the little shitty, I got to impress this guy on the apron who's going to kill me, was also awesome. So they told a lot of great stories here. These matches back to back, I love the pacing of this. It was like, oh no, these are some fights to start the show, to show that we got like some brawlers out here. And I thought formerly Team The Foundation really shined here. Shout out to Rhett Titus too, who has some tremendous stuff.
Agreed. And part of what I loved, to your point about Claudio and Wheeler is such a logical wrestler that it makes him not getting the pins feel all the more like kind of frustrating. You can see where Claudio's coming from because he's doing all of these things right except getting that win.
Right.
This has been some of my favorite Wheeler Yuta work. Like, he looks so at home in ROH. I've loved what he's been bringing to the table, but like his in-ring strength to me is like how innovative and how logical he is with his offense and how well he tells the story through that. Such a fun thing when he's doing everything right but getting the near fall, and Claudio just loses his mind on the side a little bit. And to your point about Hot Sauce, he can sometimes be sneaky good. Like, he's a little bit unassuming in his presentation. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he just is kind of like a little bit more controlled and
even just a wrestler, white guy with beard with black tights. Like, it's not, you know what I mean?
He's out there to wrestle as a wrestler, and I love that for him. But you're right, he'll kind of bust something out, and you're like, damn, all right, good stuff from that. Yeah, good stuff. So a really fun match, an expected result, but I absolutely adore Claudio and Wheeler shaking hands after that. Popped me tremendously. Ronald Hollick chiming in saying Ida, Veda, and Nigel for a collision team. I'm not going to argue with that. You can catch Ian and Veda on New Japan commentary oftentimes too, and their chemistry is great. I love it. JW Pringles saying, just stopping by to say hi to my real life sister, Kate Elizabeth. Hello to the Righteous. We're going to talk about the Righteous. The Righteous one as well. Have a great show, you crazy kids. Well, thank you, Jay.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
the love so much. But we'll move right along here to our first title defense of the night. We got multiple title defenses of the night.
Thank you.
I was so happy. This is one of the things I was so complaining about the past few weeks. Love seeing it here. We get Samoa Joe and Blake Christian, and what was a match that I thought could have been a little bit longer, but really, really fun stuff. Samoa Joe's power slams, man.
Oh my God.
Just brutal. And Blake Christian, God bless him, like took him like a champ and sold the hell out of him as well.
Beautiful.
I loved the 619 spot through the rope to hit Joe's leg. I thought that was super creative. Like, tight. Very, very, very fun match. What did you think? And also, what's next for Samoa Joe? Do you think Mr. Briscoe's coming back?
I like to think in my brain that Samoa Joe's telling Tony Khan, put me on early and I'm going 8 minutes and then I'm going home. Cause like, why is he always early in every show? It's like, you're the television champion. We want to see Athena in the main event, but you could be right before the main event. I think that'd be okay. But I like to think that he's being like, no, put me on right here. I'm about to go in here, destroy this guy, and I'm going to be on my way home, because that's the Samoa Joe way of living. Samoa
He's got
Joe,
that Brock Lesnar life.
that's what it's feeling like to me. Because why does this keep happening? I'm like, why is Samoa Joe the third match? He's been like the third match for like 4 weeks in a row. I don't understand it.
Tapings though, he couldn't have gone anywhere unless he did all of his matches back to back. In which case, God
He's
bless
like, yeah,
him.
no, I'm about to do. I got 3 matches today. Run them right back to back. I'm gonna be out there for a total of 24 minutes, and we're gone. We're gone.
And that's it. I'm walking away from everyone.
He deserves it. He's been doing this for so many years, carrying ROH on his back for the last year or so. Shout out to Samoa Joe. Blake Christian looked great. I thought that the strategy that Samoa Joe used in this is the reason that he kind of dominated the match. He didn't let Blake Christian fly at all, really. Usually when we see Blake Christian matches, he's flipping, doing moonsaults, Fosbury flops, all kind of stuff. And it's like Samoa Joe was like, no, we're not doing none of that. He kind of made Blake Christian fight his match, with the strikes and all that. Like Blake Christian was going for his legs. But if you fight that match with Samoa Joe, you're going to lose. Like, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
We've seen it so many times. Like, oh no, I'm gonna go and do a Samoa Joe match with Samoa Joe. It's a Samoa Joe match, dude. You're not gonna win. His name is in the match. Yeah, that power slam that he did was just, oh my God. Like, how do you do it so fast? It's actually borderline scary how close
it is
for CB is to taking this damn power slam. It's scary. But yeah, as far as Samoa Joe's next opponent, I don't know. It's still kind of a mystery, because Samoa Joe just kind of moves like he ain't gonna talk and be like, who wants some? He's just like, I'm gonna fight and you call me out. But no one has called him out besides Mark Briscoe. So I'm guessing we're leading to Mark Briscoe versus Samoa Joe. The rematch, not mad at it at all. I think Mark Briscoe has been, his trajectory has been to still kind of win that championship.
I think so too. And the only thing is, then he has to win. You can't go back to that. Well, again, mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's got to win there if you are going to run it back.
Yep.
But I think it's a really interesting time, because we haven't seen the roster settle down the way that I think we were hoping. But at the same time, it matters because you need direction for your product. But I'm wondering if ROH is going to have a hand at all in Forbidden Door and in All In. Like, who knows? Who knows at this point? We're seeing some really, really fun stuff. So
we got to see Samoa Joe if he's still the TNT champ. Samoa Joe has to be on one of these cards. And Athena. Both of these people have been, they don't work as hard as this for Ring of Honor and not be able to have an opportunity in All In or All Out or Forbidden Door. We got to see Samoa Joe in Forbidden Door if he's not injured. Like, come on, dude. We want to see him against somebody. Has to be a thing, even if it's for a Samoa Joe 8 minutes. That's all we really need.
That is all we really need, Reg. You're completely right about that. But this was a fun little match. Went the way we were expecting, but nice to see Samoa Joe back on my television as God intended. And we move along to the Infantry and the Righteous, which I really liked. Again, commentary killing it, mentioning the Dark Order feud, Stu Grayson appearing on the ramp as a distraction, which kind of psyched up, I feel like, the Righteous a little bit. They definitely had their eyes out. But this was very, very fun. Some good stuff in here. I love me the captain, not just because he keeps MJF away, but because he's a great wrestler. Really good at just some fundamental stuff. The arm drags, the drop kicks, like just clean, awesome, great wrestling. Really, really fun stuff. What did you think of this match?
To your point about the commentary, they felt even better this episode because during a lot of the matches with like say the previous match, they described Blake Christian's independent run. They mentioned Myron Reed by name at some point, and I was like, wow, this is we've heard these rumors, subscribe to Fightful Select, about what's going to happen in the future with Ring of Honor and them possibly involving more independent wrestling talent, which is going to be great. Felt like they got the ball rolling today with just kind of describing everybody's background. So it's not like we're just watching a bunch of enhancement talent. It's like, no, this person's for Adam Priest, this person's the action wrestling champ. This person, it's like they're adding some depth to these wrestlers. Going to be able to build a connection with a lot of them, which I think is dope. Shout out to the commentary team. When you have those three, that's what you're going to get every time. This match was fine. I really like the Infantry a lot. Carlie Bravo and the captain. Shout out to the captain. That's my homeboy. I love their gear. I love their entrance. I love all of it. Think they can put it together if they get a chance. They kind of just been, the homies to get beat up. Sorry, it is what it is. You need those people sometimes, but I think they're a lot more than that. And, continuing to get reps I think is going to be good. The story that they're telling with the Righteous and Stu Grayson, I'm a little confused about it because I'm like, I like what Stu's doing over here with the Dark Order. Why are you guys trying to break it up over here? But it is a story that they're consistently telling throughout these Ring of Honor episodes, which we haven't seen a lot of just like straight up story, as much as this one has been like, as soon as the Righteous came back, they were like, Stu, you're our friend. Come be our friend. And they've been continuously being like, we're your friends. They're not your friends over here. So I like that aspect of it.
I do too. I think I really wanted the Dark Order to have a story, so I don't want to then be like, right, but not this one. Because it's great to see them getting on track, but it just feels like every Dark Order story is who's in, who's not. Like, it's a little bit, they're either pawning someone else's game or they're questioning who's in their own group a little bit too much.
True.
I would just want to see them have wins and losses and stories outside of that. But
and we want to see them as a group. You don't have to keep teasing, breaking them up. We like the Dark Order as a group. We connected to them and have been for a long time.
Yeah, John. How do you not love John Silver? Like, my heart explodes. You can't not love that guy. But fun stuff here. Agree with you on commentary. They were at another level tonight. Ricardo, surname redacted, saying that clam digging Nigel said such good stuff.
No, Nigel's like, bro, every time I get a moment, I'm setting up this Danielson match. If you guys like, we're all like, we really want it. And he's like, I want it more than you do. And he continues to show us.
He's just gonna show up wearing his boots and see if anybody notices. It's such a blast.
Get in the ring, Brian. Well, we're gonna see it. It's definitely gonna happen.
Exactly. I'm hoping, but absolutely in on the idea though of the Dark Order and Vincent and Dutch. They're a fun duo to kind of play off of each other. And yeah, Dutch and his creepy weird little tongue sticking out. This is
that Dutch also Dutch's boss man slam was crazy in this match. It's always crazy, but to see it again is like, man, that's a hell of a boss man slam.
That it is. That it is. We got a quick video here from OGK, and as Luis called them, not top flight.
Yes, not top flight.
Nothing major going on here, but just continuing.
They keep running this Kingdom promo. It feels like we've seen it like 4 times at this point. It's just like, here it is again. We're going with this. We're bad. We hate the Dante, Darius, Action Andretti. We hate all those people. So I hope that next week, Fight Without Honor, this is it, and we can move on, because I think it's time for everybody to move on here.
I agree. Yeah, I think we can get this one in the books, or you could even just take a week off from the promo, and I think it would be good on that. But nice to keep people top of mind, and it wasn't a terribly long one. Yeah, why not? Our wonderful moderator Luis also letting you know 5 more likes until the sex number. Thank you so much, Luis, for keeping my commitment to the bit alive. We'll move along here to Vertvixen versus Robyn Renegade. A fun match. An evenly matched match, which was fun. No major size advantages on either side of this. Kind of like what's going on here, though, because they're a women's tag team. I don't know if Charlotte's injured or not, but perfectly serviceable match. Very excited to see Vertvixen around. She's one of those independent talents that is also on the cusp, right? She's really breaking out every time we see her. I feel like I see some new aspect of her that I really, really like. And Robyn looked great here. Just kind of wondering what's going on, but I'll take it tonight. What were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I mean, if we have the Renegade twins. Let's get them as a tag team. I think having some, Ring of Honor women's tag team matches is going to be a fun thing to do too. So what's the point of not doing that? Vertvixen is great. I've seen her a couple times at West Coast Pro. I think she's the Defy Women's Champion also. So she's doing a lot of really dope things on the independent scene. Great to see her here. She had a really good display. But like I was saying earlier, the end of the match got kind of, I think that the referee didn't really understand what was going on. Robyn had Vert locked in the submission and Vert was tapping out, but like the referee just didn't stop it. And then like it's still happening. And then at one point, Vert says, "I'm tapping," out loud. And it was just like, whoa, okay. And then the referee stopped the match. So very weird ending to a otherwise very fun match. I think Vert eventually, when she gets more opportunities, is going to be contender. They told the story on commentary that she's actually had Ring of Honor women's championship matches before, but this is the first time officially in Ring of Honor. I think she has a very high upside. This year, she's been doing a lot of great things, so it's going to be dope for her. I don't think this finish, people probably didn't even really notice the finish. It's just me being like, that's funny thing. She's like, "I'm tapping, ref, help me." But, things happen how they happen.
No, it's a little bit more punctuated by the weird finish that we get later with what I thought might have been the match of the night. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of a bummer when we see those in back-to-back situations, but
right.
But a fun match, just kind of just that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that when you have such a stacked 2 hours. I will absolutely take it.
And a women's match, we want all the women's matches we can get. Keep sending them over here,
especially on an episode that doesn't have Willow. Man, you gotta fill you gotta at least try. You gotta at least try to fill the void. So. Shea Monster with a lovely chat from us saying, catching up on the first hour now because it was 75 degrees out and sunny in Wisconsin today. Had to touch grass while possible. More people should be like you, Shea Monster.
Listen up.
No idea who beats Athena or Claudio, you guys. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I think Eddie might be coming back for Claudio after this surgery. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, especially with some of the things we saw later tonight. Athena, I don't know if they've established who that person is enough. Like, I don't know. That could be, let's say Trinity has a 6-month contract in Impact, and then she does all this amazing work there, and in 6 months she comes in to beat Athena. Or Layla Hirsch comes back from injury and just goes on a tear. Like, I don't know if that person is there yet. However, right now, if you asked me who it is, I say Trish Adora, but I don't think that happens for a little bit. Like, I think Athena's still got a ways to go on this reign.
Big agree. I don't think there's anybody right now that's like, okay, they should be the one to dethrone her, especially with how she's running through this title reign right now. Like, if this is leading to we're gonna get her up to AEW, then yeah, let's go for it. Let's try to build somebody. But like I say, somebody's gonna need to be built. There's nobody that's ready made right now. They have a bunch of talented women on the roster for sure, but nobody that's like, if they beat her next week, that we'd be like, yeah, this is well deserved.
Exactly. Nobody that the story is there for yet, but the potential with a lot of them. So looking forward to that. We're not going to go into depth on this yet, but all you need to know is that Brent Boyd Tate was attacked. Okay. Nana in the Gates of Agony interview. They attacked Brent Boyd. We're going to circle back.
Confused, because they announced that this kind of plays against them when they announce the matches on Twitter. First, you're like, well, we already know we're getting this match. Why are you saying that we're getting this match? We know we're not getting that match. It was just funny.
It is. There's a couple of circular things about those, kind of similar to when they have open challenges and they're like, whoever it's going to be. And we're like, well, we know who it is because
you already told us.
Already happened. But you can only control so much of what you can control, right? But we're going to circle back to that and we're going to move right into the return of the Macks, baby. We got Willie Mack and Ninja Mack in a very, very fun match. We got Caprice breaking it down on commentary, having so much fun with this. Loved Ian calling out their international backgrounds. He said that it was kind of like a difference in styles, but they're both like have extensive international histories, which was really, really great. Kind of what you would come to expect from this match. You see the agility and the strength and the hard-hitting style of Willie Mack with the speed and also agility. I guess that's kind of their meeting point of Ninja Mack. Super, super fun match, I thought. What did you think overall?
The finish was badass. That power bomb that Willie Mack hit was tough. I like Willie Mack here. I think he's getting. I think with the crowd reaction and everything, people are going to want to be behind him. And you know what? Some build and some wins and some things. Willie Mack might be a little competitor for Samoa Joe. Watch your back, Samoa Joe. Don't let my guy Mack come up and beat that ass. I don't know. I'm
you hear that,
crazy.
Samoa Joe?
Talking crazy for Mack, but I think he could do it. I mean, you never know.
You're not
Willie
the only
Mack.
one with the sick power bomb. Look what we saw tonight at a Willie Mack, Samoa Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Your eyes out.
Put that belt up. That actually would be a good match, Tony Khan and Washington. Yeah. Also, I thought
this is Will Washington's ROH, so
it's not. Don't say that. This is Ninja Mack. Also, great display. If you've been on Twitter at all within the last 1 or 2 years, you've seen at least one Ninja Mack gif on your timeline. At minimum one. This guy's be doing flips like no other. One of the stalwarts of spot foo, as they say. This guy is it. He does it, and we love it. Flipping all over the ring, flipping out of the ring. But Willie Mack's he's almost the male version of Willow with how you the charisma and how you just want to connect to him. And when you see him, you're just like, man, I just really want this guy to win. And then he starts wrestling and he starts beating ass. And you're like, man, I really want this guy to win. He's cool. That's a great connection. One guy that I could never really see as heel. I know he did a little bit of heel work in Impact, but it was still like, man, that's Willie Mack, man. You can't be mad at this guy. It's the Mack, man. Battle of the Macks. Great match.
I love the Willow comparison too, because it's not even just that like, oh, they're so magnetic and fun, and then you see them in the ring and you're like, damn. It's that instant thing too, where as soon as they come out, you're like, I'm in on this person. Let's
something
go.
About this person. I really like them.
Love that. Love that. Great match. Hoping we're seeing more of Willie Mack myself as well. Some more love coming in from you guys. Thank you for the super chats and the humper chats. It really does help us. This is a show that was started without sponsors and has 4 hosts and a moderator, so it's one of our more expensive shows overall. Your chats go a really long way, so we appreciate it. Me Norma saying, "What's good, Reg Kate? Sup, partner?" The Mack Bull was my sirloin beef sons of bitch match. I love the Mack Bull of the week. Don't sleep on Uncle Willie's agility. Truly, really impressive.
Will can flip too. Don't forget, he could do his little pop-up moonsault too. That can pop the crowd every single time. Never fails.
Alex Pulaski said he's like Mr. Incredible, and now I can't unsee it.
Yeah,
like he's got like the same build as Mr. Incredible, but he moves like Mr. Incredible and super fun. So I'll take that. I'll take that superhero action from Willie Mack. I love it.
Yep.
ROH Twitter also having some fun with this. They set the entrances to Return of the Mack, which was a blast. Love what we got here. Moving along to the embassy, Brian Cage, Kaun and Leona with, of course, Prince Nana, who adds so much with his presence, versus Adam Priest, Lucky Ali, and Victor Benjamin. Nice to see these guys around. Very, very fun trio. Not a surprise.
No.
But how long have we been saying, hey, why is Brian Cage just out here squashing people when he's a trios champion?
Just said it last week. Just said it the week before. Like, this is something we've been wanting for a long time. But yeah, they just beat these guys' ass. There wasn't really too much to it.
That is pretty much what we got. But it was fun, and I felt like everybody kind of had their moment, which when you haven't been on TV in a while, it's nice to see that. It would be kind of a bummer if it was a 6-man match and still was a Brian Cage showcase or whatever. Yeah. So nice to see everybody kind of get to show their strength. I also thought on the opposite side of this, it was really fun to have 3 very different competitors against, we've talked about this before too. They set up an interesting dynamic because they all bring something different to the table, but they're all really big dudes and really intimidating, and they're going to hit you really hard. So seeing 3 people with different strengths, like we got to see on the other side of this, I thought was fun. But yeah, not a ton here. I do think perhaps because they had the nerve to attack Brent Boy, and because maybe what we're seeing with the Mogul Embassy merger, it might be time for them to drop it sooner rather than later. I think Dalton Castle and the boys is the perfect program to run to put it on them. I know they already faced each other. I think that's why we got this attack tonight with poor Brent Boy. These silly gooses on my television, Reg. But I think it seems like Brian Cage is re-signed. He might be destined for things on the AEW side of the coin rather than the ROH side of the coin. What are your thoughts on them maybe dropping to Dalton Castle and moving along to the AEW side of things?
It's just going to be kind of weird if all the title changes they should have did a few months ago, they just do them now. Like Eddie Kingston should have beat Claudio. Oh, just do it now. Oh, Mark Briscoe should have beat Samoa Joe. Oh, fuck it. Let's just do it now. Oh, the boys should have beat the Mogul Embassy. Oh, forget about it. Let's just do it now. Like all these victories we kind of wanted before, and they're going to be great, but it's just going to feel a little bit bittersweet because it's like, why'd you just pull the trigger before? It might have worked out a little bit better before you. And where are the Ring of Honor tag team champions at? I'd like to see them. I'd like them to come out and say hi to the crowd. I'd like a promo. I'd like something to be like, hey, you guys remember when these guys won these championships that one time?
I mean, I don't know why Will did it this way, but I think
Kate, I can't participate.
Quite honestly, Will has had nothing to do this, but I'm committed to the
Willow. You said Willow, right?
Yeah. I don't know why Willow Nightingale. I don't know why Willow.
Why is she has doing this? Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, this is a weird. Truly, it does feel weird because we know Ray Phoenix is also healthy because we saw him in a match with Claudio. A phenomenal match yesterday with Claudio.
Hey.
I didn't see if he was at these tapings or not either. So I
was trying to keep it spoiler free for the most part. And I've got here. Shout out to us for not saying too much of what happened. Like I didn't know anything that was going to happen on the show today, which was dope.
Yeah, it's more fun that way if you can make that happen for yourself. So I've seen some stuff, but I've seen like some talent that is there. I haven't seen any of the results of anything. I'm trying to stay eyes closed on that. So I hope that he was able to make the tapings because I would like my ROH tag champs around, especially when they made such a big deal out of things. But health and wellness is
and I guess how I'm connecting this is what we're gonna see later in the show. Another set of tag team champions from another place is like, well, what are they doing here? Why didn't you have the Ring of Honor tag team champions save them? But I don't know.
It's a weird one. I have thoughts on that though, and we're gonna get to them. Oh, we're gonna get to them right now. Look at that.
Yeah, there we go.
You set up a segue I didn't even know was sitting here, but we get what I thought was a hell of a match with a little bit of an odd ending. I don't know what happened in that. I also don't know if it's intentional, if they want to run it back, but Kyle Fletcher versus Tony Deppen was awesome. I am so blown away by the fact that Kyle Fletcher is 24 years old.
Can't believe it.
He is this damn good. He was great in singles competition tonight. He's phenomenal in tag contests. Incredibly sneaky strength. They alluded to it a lot, and I know Tony Deppen's not necessarily a heavy, but really, really looked strong tonight. This match was a ton of fun. At the end here, we do get Kyle Fletcher with a modified Michinoku driver. And it was just kind of odd. I don't know what the miscommunication was, but it felt like the ending was a little bit off. Kind of a bummer, but man, oh man, what a match we got. And Tony Deppen continues to be just such a fun heel. He's so good and he's so creative in the ring. And then he'll just start jaw jockeying over nothing or whatever. He has this incredible cohesive inflection that is so consistent as a thread throughout everything he does, whether it's the way he talks trash, whether it's his facial expressions, his mannerisms in the ring. I love Tony Deppen. He definitely deserves a contract, but what he did tonight with Kyle Fletcher, that was something special, Reg.
Kyle Fletcher is a big star, dude. He's deceptively big. He looks good. He's incredible in the ring. I think he's one of those ones that are just in the future, we're going to be like, that's that guy. But his tag team is so good. Like, they're one of the best tag teams in the world that I don't want to see them break up anytime soon. Like, as long as they're going to be healthy together, like, continue to do that. That tells a story with Kyle Fletcher, how great and how important tag team wrestling is, because he spent so much of his time being a tag team wrestler. And you would think, well, that means he's only working half of the match. No, he's working all the match, even on the apron. You know how much he's learning on the apron, watching his tag team partner in the ring against, the best tag teams in the world. You know how much work he learns and how many things he could get as a tag team wrestler. So when you see him as a singles wrestler, it really shines because he's learning. If anything, in a tag match, he's learning twice as much because he's wrestling two other guys, but really he's learning 3 times as much because he has his partner there. I'm doing Steiner math right now. That's how much is going down right now. Kyle Fletcher is a big star. That's pretty much where I'm leading to.
Look at me and you look at Kyle Fletcher.
Yes, exactly. Kyle Fletcher. And then I honestly didn't even know that he was 24 until I saw your tweet, and I was like, what? Like that makes it even wilder to see how incredible this guy is.
Because he's kind of one of those guys that I'm like, if you told me he was 22 or 30, I'd believe you.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Part of it is his poise, but yeah, people have a really misguided understanding of how tag team wrestling works. If you think it's less work to be a tag team wrestler, for sure, but so much fun. And this is where I think they might be going. I'm wondering if we get triple threat ROH tag champions, AEW tag champions, and IWGP champions at Forbidden Door in what is one of the most impossibly cool combinations of a triple threat tag match that I could ever imagine. Now, if they do that, I still really want and need my Aussie Open FTR one-on-one, but him showing up in Ring of Honor was a little conspicuous, I feel like. And they've been there before, so maybe they were just picking up bookings and putting on bigger matches, and God bless them if they did, because this was so much fun. But I think if they want to do Forbidden Door as more than New Japan and AEW, that could be a really fun way to do it.
Yeah, that's a really tight match right there. And if the Lucha Bros are going to still be the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions by then, book this match. That's going to be great. I'm sure some combination of FTR and United Empire, I'm sure, are going to be, or the Aussie Open are going to be a part of this show and this match. Going to be super dope. And before I didn't give it up to Tony Deppen, who also is incredible, one of the best wrestlers in the entire world. He is so good that it's feeling unfortunate that he's so good at getting beat up that he's going to get beat up for his whole career, a la everybody's favorite wrestler, Dolph Ziggler. Like, he's so good at everything that you're like, damn, I want to see this guy get beat up. But offensively, he's also a really great wrestler. Tony Deppen is underrated with his offensive strikes. His knees are on point a lot of the time, very underrated in the knee department. His homicide dive is on fire. Like, I love Tony Deppen. I think he's a really great, talented wrestler, and I don't want him to get stuck in that box of he's really good at getting his ass kicked. Let's just put him in there to get his ass kicked, because he deserves more than that.
I agree with you. The thing that I always go back to with Deppen is he has this incredible combination of being very technically sound, but also very creative in his execution. I feel like a lot of times you get one or the other. He has that sweet spot. I would really love at some point a Tony Deppen pure title run. I think he could do, because his heel persona and his creativity under Pure Rules, give me like an extended Tony Deppen pure run. Please, oh please.
Let him cook.
That's what I'm asking for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually said out loud after this match, I said, see, they can never leave the studio. I said it out loud to my television because this is like the perfect example of it.
Yeah.
I will.
You can't get this match at 11:30 p.m. after Dynamite.
No, and then like Orange Cassidy comes down for no reason. Like, what are we doing?
What's he doing there?
I will also say Tony Deppen and Kyle Fletcher are two talents that, out of only a handful, that I feel like when you see them live, you understand them on a different level.
Yes.
Those are two that, and I just got to see Aussie Open live in the New Japan DC Philly run that they did back to back. I was like, different level live. That guy is a different level live.
That's how I always described Timothy Thatcher. If he like, people are like, oh, Timothy Thatcher, I don't really like him. But if you see him live, you're like, oh, it's different. You can see it and feel it. It's just a different type of thing. But yeah, these two guys are like that too, for sure.
He's more than just not British. Timothy Thatcher.
Sacramento. Bring Timothy Thatcher back. I know he's killing it out there in Noah, like doing a great job. I think he might be one half of the Noah Tag Team Champions right now. But man, let's see him back on Ring of Honor TV a little bit.
And Trent 7, bring it all. Bring it all, bring it all back.
Yeah.
Moving along to what I thought was a great match here, Anthony Henry and AR Fox. I expected this to be. Love JD Drake coming out here. Also loved AR Fox playing off of JD Drake being out there. He should be an intimidating presence a little bit. That should bother you that he's around. We got a really nice 450 splash from the win. He has got one of the best in the game. We got some shenanigans after. FTR's music hits and they make their way to even the odds and brawl with the Workhorsemen and Taylor.
Why? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I'll tell you what, though, I have an interest in FTR versus the Workhorsemen, so I'm a happy gal if that's where this is going. But Eddie Kingston pulls up as well.
Also,
in what the wonderful Doc Mueller at Bleacher Report described as a segment that is for Kate. Those are my favorites.
Did Eddie Kingston talk?
No, he just
no, he didn't. But at the end of the segment when he's hugging in the ring, he has a microphone, but they cut right off him. So I'm guessing he did a promo, but they cut it, which is super interesting.
Oh yeah, that is a little interesting. I wonder, maybe he just swore too much. I don't know.
Could be. Was Eddie Kingston? It probably was we're not supposed to do this, Eddie. How'd you get that mic? And he just starts doing his thing, though.
He's like, listen, partner. A big rig from FTR was also a very nice pop that we ended up getting here, which was super, super fun. I'm intrigued to see where that goes. I'm assuming it moves up to maybe the main roster because the Workhorsemen versus FTR could be a really fun, easy title win for FTR. But we move along. We are coming down the home stretch. Apologies to Cresta and Joel who are backstage. This one was a full episode of ROH tonight. So we are not playing Mad Libs to kill time. We are trying to hurry up, but we get Dark Order. Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, John Silver, and Stu Grayson against Josh Woods. So excited to see Josh Woods. The Varsity Trust Busters, Jeeves K, Slim J, who no gear for Slim J. I'm sorry. Go back to it's weird. It's uncomfortable. No. And my dear son,
he's like, I don't want to be old school Eminem anymore. I get it.
I get it. This was not the move, though. This was too big of a jump for me. But the Dark Order emerging with a win here. All four guys laying in their stuff on Slim J here with a series of moves. They're celebrating in the ring, and Stu Grayson is left out of the celebration. He's just ringside, alone with none of his friends. Very well done by Nigel McGuinness pointing this out. Incredibly adequate storytelling along the side of this. Feeding into the righteous stuff. Perfectly serviceable match. No complaints about it. I just don't love this Dark Order story necessarily, but I'm glad they have one.
Yeah, I could have. The placement of this match felt kind of weird, I thought, in the show. I thought it probably could have been a little bit earlier in the show. But I guess they're trying to tell the righteous thing, so they wanted to separate them. This match was fine. We see these guys, most of these guys involved in this match, we've seen them in Ring of Honor, especially on the Varsity Trustbuster, whatever those guys are called today, Alliance, who is always on Ring of Honor every single week. One time we heard their song like 5 or 6 times in a row. We all just wanted to rip our ears out, but it's great to see them. This is a fun match. I love to see the Super Smash Bros. Finisher here to finish the match, which I thought was super dope. And at the end of it, seeing the Dark Order together, I think is dope. And I'd love to see more Dark Order 10-man tags.
Absolutely. This was good stuff. Agree with the placement. Very weird that Samoa Joe had the TV title defense like third match or whatever. We got but we'll take it. Good enough, guys. We're coming down the home stretch. We're headed into what was an awesome main event with Athena and Sky Blue. Please get in the last of your super chats and your humper chats. After this, we're going to pass this off to the incredible Cresta star, and also Joel Pearl will be there. Cresta is going to be a part of your 3-man booth for the Collision post show. So incredibly exciting news.
She's cool.
She's amazing. I'm so excited to see her role at Fightful expanding into Saturdays. We're just clowning out here, me and Cresta. We're having some fun, but you know who's not messing around? Athena. She's just here to destroy Skye Blue and anybody else in her path, which I know was something that you wanted to see. We kind of agreed that the story here should be her getting her ass kicked, and I'd also like to thank Athena because she is the subject of a lot of our super chats and hopper chats. I am going to clear one out about Kyle Fletcher that came back in after we finished talking about it, but me and Norma said, look at the AEW ROH talent under 30, and then look at the Raw Consolation title tourney with an average age around 40. Jeez Louise.
Staying away from that. Don't want none.
I mean, Rhett is staying away from it because he just feels like it's obvious who should win it, and it's Bray Wyatt. Like, the fact that Bray Wyatt, I know there's been questions about whether he's cleared or not, but he's the guy who should be there winning it. But I will say, I don't want to speak to the 40-year-old thing because there are a lot of people who were stars in their 30s that are having incredible legacies in their 40s. But I will say there's an incredible young talent pool. Like, when you think that MJF is like 26 and Kyle Fletcher's 24, Billy Starks is like going to prom still and stuff. Get out of town. It's so awesome. Right. Enormous also saying Dark Order's tandem trio offense is great and they're over AF in every building. Why can't they get a title? Tell me why. That's kind of where I'm at. They always seem to be puns on other people's game. I want to see them like on a story. However, I do feel like I don't want them to break up, but I think a Stu Grayson solo ROH run could be something very memorable and special.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we get into our Athena chat. So bigger apologies to Joel and Cresta because we got a lot of them because this main event was so much fun. Chris Mueller saying, here's my weekly Athena rules super chat. Thank you for that. Ronald Hollick saying Yuka Sakazaki is asking talent for ROH in a TJPW Summer Princess in July. Hope Athena gets to fight in Japan. Bring Joshi Killer. That sounds like a hell of a lot of fun to me. Matthew Hooks. Did anyone else hear the ref tell Athena?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So you got a minute and a half left. I'm like, hey, quiet, dude.
Yeah, what are you, John Cena refereeing out here? Why can't I hear you? Especially at a taping this long. Like, what was the?
It's a taping. Edit that out, dude.
Yeah, and like you don't have a hard out, right? Like that's kind of the point of these. But I did hear that, and I thought maybe somebody else was refereeing. It was so long. But
seriously.
Orion Ben saying, I think it is time to admit that we have an intelligent babyface problem across wrestling. I was looking at Skye and shaking my head. Bangs Media build one. You're the best for that bet. We're going to talk about Skye Blue being a little bit dumb in this. She is young, and so I have a little bit less of a problem with it because she's so green, but we will talk about that shortly. Louisville saying that Athena is NXT Asuka level good right now. She is. I'll take that comparison stylistically and the way she's operating and the fact that I don't want to see her lose this for the next 500 days. Minimal saying main event was a humper. Athena is truly the fallen goddess. She's the best, man. This has been a bunch of fun. And the final chat for now is RNH saying who gets to challenge Athena at All In? Athena had better be on the card. I would love legit Layla Hirsch, or if set up properly, Queen Aminata. I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I don't know what you do here. I think Layla would be a really fun one. I don't know if there's like a bigger name out there. I don't want to keep throwing Mercedes into everything. Impact has kind of an open forum, and I think they wouldn't mind working with AEW again. I would love to see it be Trinity. I think there's a lot of magic that could happen because Athena is so versatile in her acrobatic side and this vicious side that has been laid in of late. Right. Let's talk about the match, and then we'll talk about All In when Joel and Cresta are on here. as our kind of out here. But I really wanted to see Skye Blue get her ass kicked in 3 minutes, but instead we saw Skye Blue get her ass kicked for like 17 minutes. But Athena did an incredible job. Not to take anything away from Skye Blue, but I think a lot of this was Athena's work just by nature of the story of making her look like a viable competitor here. That power slam on the steps was a little bit wonky, but other than that, I feel like there was a lot of really good work done here. I still don't know if it ever felt like Skye Blue was on Athena's level, but I don't think anyone's supposed to feel like they're on Athena's level, so I didn't mind this. What did you think about our main event tonight?
I thought there was a lot of really fun elements for Skye Blue. I thought that she shined. There was one point where she kicked out at one where I was like, she got me into this match. I was believing maybe, hey, you never know. But then Athena knocked her right back down. It was all over with. The power bomb on the steps was just like, this is brutal. Why are you doing this to this little girl? Yeah. She's a little girl, Athena. Don't do this to her. She's young. She's new to the business. They told her this all the time, but
yeah, it got evoked, which was nice. Like that really came across because we weren't getting that before. Yeah,
right. Yeah, but Athena is just the Ring of Honor MVP. There's nothing that Skye Blue could have brought today that was going to stop the beat down and the pain that Athena was going to give to her. But Skye Blue looked great. She's been improving every single match. This is far and away the best Skye Blue match I think we've seen ever in any promotion and anywhere, because it's Athena. She's on fire. She's the best. I don't know what's to come next, but I do love every single thing that she's doing here on Ring of Honor every single week. She's amazing. Send her to Japan right now. There's so many dope options for her.
So many, and agree. I think Skye Blue really connected with the story that she was telling tonight, and that was helpful for sure. But we are going to go ahead and bring on Joel and Cresta. So sorry that we are a little bit over. We had a lot to talk about tonight, but
wake up,
hi
Joel.
Cresta, you look beautiful.
Next week, it'll be a whole year. Me and Joel have been covering the post-Impact show, so I wanted to get a little fancy. And I wasn't going to do the beard, but then I saw Zicky Dice's Fu Manchu, and I said, I won't be outdone.
You look real good.
Speak on it.
Well, if Zicky Dice is going to do anything, it's bring the fashion.
That's facts.
Exactly.
We talked about a women's match, and I just saw right before we started the show that Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly started the show.
Oh, that was a good match.
I'm like, please tell me about this real quick before.
Stiff. And I like these two women because I don't like brutal blood matches, but if you damn near kill yourself, I'm into it. And that's what pretty much happened. I was listening to you guys talk about the Athena Skye Blue. Now I'm going to definitely watch Athena. Because Athena should have beat Jade Cargill. That's just my opinion. You can fight me afterwards if you would like to.
It's still in the air.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. But that match was a good match. And yes, Killer Kelly lost. But Masha looked good in defeat. I mean, Killer Kelly looked good in defeat because she had the killer clutch on Masha. Masha reversed it by going off the turnbuckle. And then after the match, Killer Kelly's like, I'm not letting go. I love her. This is my friend. I love her. No. Damn near choked out Masha. She kind of sold it. She was like, oh, I'm sleepy. Okay, I'm up now. Fuck you. It was a good match.
They were the victim of a weird circumstance too, because that match was supposed to be taped in Toronto after Rebellion, but Killer Kelly had a cyst that ruptured, so they didn't do that. They ended up doing Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich, and Kelly was off the tapings completely. So this gave them an opportunity to actually run this match with a little bit of build. So they had a pre-tape from Killer Kelly and a little bit from Masha too. So like there was a little bit more to this match, and yeah, it delivered. Cresta nailed it. It was perfect. It's a good match.
It was a good match. I just want to respond really quickly to Dex Baker, who said not the one-sided feud with Ziggy. He said he got heat with everybody. So technically
Ziggy's got heat. You got heat, Cresta?
I mean, I'm hot in my house. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff on. I'm hot. I got heat right now. Like, Jesus, I'm sweating.
We're dressing up next week.
Oh, next week? Oh, next week you're getting the full beard. Next week I'm going to be a dwarf.
Oh, next week
we're doing the full beard next week. Because I did this last night and I was like, damn, am I going to really show up in a bonnet? And I'll save that for my streams. So next week I'll do something different. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to do something different.
I love it. I love it so much. And for the fellas who don't know, a cyst rupturing hurts so bad. That shit hurts.
Imagine a yam bag shuffle, but one of your yam bags says, "I gotta die." That's what that feels like.
Oh, it's not great.
Yeah.
Not great. A lot of people are asking for Athena's challengers. I would love to see Deonna Purrazzo get in the mix.
Oh yeah.
And I know you guys have a lot to talk about with Impact. I know Steve Maclin defended. I know the Knockouts tag teams defended. So we are going to go ahead and throw it over to you. We're way late already. So we're going to get the hell out of here. But very excited to hear about what's going on in Impact. And we got to see Nick Aldis in action, I believe, as well, right? So
yes.
Good things. Yeah, he was there. Good stuff for you to talk about. And you got a pizza shirt on, so I'm gonna get out of here.
I wish I would have known because I have a pizza cat shirt. We could have coordinated, y'all.
Come on, y'all gotta group chat it up.
Shout out independent wrestler Ben Tull. This is his shirt. It says send food pics.
I love food pics.
He's got a pizza one and he's got a poutine one. He's a wonderful guy. Great wrestler out of Montreal.
That's awesome. All right, we
have a great show
here. Enjoy talking Impact. Stick around.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Time for the fun. Time for the madness.
The Johnny Swinger theme song is in my head rent-free right now. Got to get back. This is your fault because when I first started watching, I was like, Johnny Swinger is so weird. And now I'm a stan. I am a stan.
He's the best.
This is the wrong application. I need to zoom out my camera.
You're all good. Doc sends a super chat saying, if Cresta looks like Gimli next week, I'll send $20.
Not like, okay, so not Gimli. Don't think Gimli. Think more of if you were a dwarf and you went to a Roaring 20s party, because that's what it's most likely going to be.
I love it. Just the backing up on your camera is perfect.
I had to zoom it all the way out like, hey, all right.
Oh, that's fantastic. Before we let the audio stuff. So, I mean, listen, most of y'all know I usually cut up the audio after this, but Cresta, how are you? Are you good?
I am fantastic. I woke up the other day to my Twitter being on fire, and it's funny how we announced Collision before AEW did. So that was great. I can't wait to talk wrestling with you guys on Saturdays, and I'm just happy to be here. Coming up on a year, hanging out with Joel Pearl every Thursday was fantastic. It's been fantastic. And hanging out with you guys every Thursday is fantastic. How are you, Joel? How's everything?
I'm great. I want to say sincerely, congratulations. I know I DM'd you, but there's no one more deserving than you to do this AEW Collision, the alleged AEW Collision show.
I would laugh, but I have my mustache on today, and this is the mouth movement. So I'm here to be looked at, not here to.
I'm here to be
starting again.
Came over. But anyway, listen, we've been doing this for a year, like you said, the Impact Post Show, and every time we do it, it's a little more fun. And I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited for the team that's going to cover Collision. It's well deserved, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So congratulations, Cresta. This is a wonderful opportunity for you.
Thank you, Joel. I'm very happy to be here, and not to get sentimental, I'll save that for next week. But it does feel good to be welcomed into this wrestling space by you nerds, the nerds at Fightful, and everyone everywhere. Because, the biggest fear is, sometimes wrestling fans, myself included, can be a little ravenous, just a little ravenous. So it's nice to be around other people who are trolling on the same level as I am. Not for blood, but, for mischief. We're goblins. We're wrestling goblins.
True, we are. We're the worst.
No,
we're the worst. It's fine.
I've seen worse. We're pretty bad.
Grand scheme of things, Fightful, we're pretty freaking good. But anyway, let's stop tooting our own horn and toot Impact Wrestling instead.
Listen, I play trombone. I'd always toot my own horn.
Are you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, here we go for the audio friends. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It's May the 11th, 2023. It's time for your Impact Wrestling Post Show. I am at Joel Pearl, and as always, I got the star of the show, no pun intended, but all the puns intended, the Collision to my Impact.
That's good.
I have the one and only Cresta star. Cresta, how are you doing tonight?
I am fantastic. fully mustache, fully beard. Zicky Dice, if you're hearing this, I wasn't gonna let you out Fu Manchu me, so I had to do my beard. I had to. But I'm doing great. What a good episode of Impact. It was 2 things happened tonight. One, they brought back the bites, which I'm so happy because we had been biteless for like 2 weeks, and now we got 2 bites tonight.
Here, when you bite, it's a good show.
And when you bite, it's a good show. And also, too, I felt like it furthered a lot of storylines. I think it was a standard episode, not a filler, but it was a good episode. And also, Masha Slamovich, Killer Kelly, I want them to tag. I want them to beef. I want them to fight forever. I want them to fight together forever. I love it. I live. Add Jody Threat. Sorry, what did you think about it?
Make it the ultimate redheaded 3-way. I'm telling you, man.
Violence, like mitigated violence. Not a lot, mitigated.
You won't know if the red is from their hair or from their faces as they bleed.
Exactly.
And I quite enjoyed the show tonight. I had a really good time watching it. I'd say most of it hit for me, and I know lately it's been a little hit or miss, but it feels like as much as they're promoting Trinity and the dates that she's going to have with Impact throughout the summer, there are still other really fun stories that are emerging through this set of tapings and coming up to Under Siege in 2 weeks. By the way, we will be doing a post show after Under Siege. That's Friday. What is that? May 26th. Oh my goodness. That's a busy weekend. That is, that's a Double or Nothing weekend, and there's an NXT show, and there's another show that I'm completely missing that I'm sure someone in the chat's going to remind me about. But either way, there's so much going on. We will be live on the Friday night talking about Under Siege and all of the post-show reactions, as we are, of course, every Thursday night after the Ring of Honor post-show with Cresta and Reg. Thank you for teeing us up, as always. Tee us up with a thumbs up if you're here, and if you're listening to us in audio form, drop us a 5-star review, because that gets your friends' ears closer to our mouths as we talk about the professional wrestling that maybe you love, or maybe you'd like to love more of. Yeah. Or if you want to support us financially, you can go ahead and leave us a super chat. It's at youtube.com/Fightful. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. It's that little $sign on the bottom of the chat. Go ahead and support us if you can. Or you can go to FightfulSelect.com. It starts at $5. More on that later, but there is tons of news, and exclusive content for your ears, your eyes, your nose, your face, every part of your body. If you really want to, you can print out the news, you can rub it all. Anyway, go ahead, $5 a month, FightfulSelect.com or more, whatever you want to do. Or you can go to HumperChats.com. Tell them Cresta.
You head on over to HumperChats.com. You put your comment in, your question, your wrestling idea. Any dollar amount will get it read on air. We get to keep a little bit more. It keeps us happy, keeps Joel happy, Shawn Ross Sapp happy, the mascot's happy. We love you, and show us you love us. HumperChats.com. Ding.
We do love you. It's true. Dobby the Brain Heenan jumps us up with a super chat saying, wasn't able to catch the show live tonight, but wanted to still drop in and check out the post show. No tandem does it better. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We sincerely enjoy talking about Impact. We love working together. We love our chat. Y'all are so much fun to hang out with. So anytime we get to do this together, it's great. And when the show is good, it's even more fun to talk about. So I guess, Cresta, we should probably dig in. A little BTI action to start.
Let's get it with George Iceman.
George Iceman once again reminds us that we're 2 weeks away from Under Siege, and that Jordan Grace will not be able to challenge for the Knockouts Championship if Diana Purrazzo is still the champion after Under Siege. In other words, if Jordan Grace loses, she cannot compete for the title if she loses. Anyway, as long as Diana's champion.
I hate these stipulations. Is it just me?
It's the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar stipulation.
Bro, I've seen this so many times in different, throughout different promotions. It's like, I get it if it's the same main event. But this is what, maybe the second time? The first, I don't like this. I get it, but I don't like it.
I get it. We'll talk about it later, because there's certainly plenty of Purrazzo and Grace commentary to give us later on in the main event. And then, of course, Mr. Iceman reminds us that Trinity will debut at Under Siege. There's an open contract, and one star who was not at the Chicago tapings is pulling strings to get that match. We found out later who that potential person might be, and I love this comment. George Iceman in his shrubbery.
I feel like that is a Monty Python's joke.
Yes, it is.
Oh, come on. 'Tis but the flesh wound.
Wonderful. And then we open up the show with Ace Austin versus Zicky Dice, the man with all the heat, taking on Ace Austin. one of the tag team champions. Easy for me to say. Jen Alexander, Josh's wife, is now doing BTI ring announcing, and I think that's really great. I'm glad that she's a part of it. She's doing the pre-shows on Instagram Live as well, so that's pretty neat. Gia is so funny. Gia Miller on this. And I know you pointed this out on Twitter, and I paid extra attention. She is going all in on Ace Austin on both ends. She starts off hating him, falls in love with him. Of course, if you know, you know. Just the funny shit. She calls him Quadzilla. Calls him Thigh Hard. They talk about Zicky Dice being the Travis Barker having a baby with Harley Race. Unfortunately,
Gia Miller is living up to her name. Mean Gia Miller. She's living up to it, bro. She is so funny. Y'all can't see it because my mouth is pretty much glued shut. But I was dying laughing. I wrote down the highlights. Gia Miller, Ace Austin stinks. Right off the beginning of the match, that guy stinks. And poor Tom Hannafin just looking at her like Gia Miller.
kind of guy who reeks up the van on a long road trip, and she's just like, I don't know how I know that, but I think so.
I don't know how I know that, but I love Gia Miller. I think I want her on commentary all the time. Nothing against Tom Hannafin, nothing against. Oh my God,
Matthew Raywalt.
Thank you. I had his name in my head, but I could not. My brain was just like, nope, you're not saying that. That's not happening. I think they'd be great on a 3 commentary team, but I just think Gia Miller is so chaotic and it sends me. I love it.
Good stuff. And then they talk about Zicky's facial hair, as you did earlier on the crossover. Gia says that she asked what happened, and Zicky said that he was shaving on an airplane, and then they hit turbulence. That's the perfect excuse for a shave job like that. Cresta, why would you do that?
To quote Tom Hannafin, why are you shaving on a plane?
Listen, sometimes you don't really have time to do it on the ground. You got to make your flight. You got to make your gig. Come on. I get it.
I mean, yeah.
That's just a time management issue overall.
I mean, but you couldn't get Johnny Swinger or someone in the dungeon. There was no dungeon on the plane.
There's no dungeon barbershop. You got to do yourself.
What goes on in the dungeon? We don't even know what goes on. There could be. Have you ever been to the Swingers dungeon?
Anyway, so the match is pretty good. Once the fun stuff settles and all the comedy's out, they have a good, solid back and forth match. Again, Zicky Dice knows how to work Ace Austin. We see him regularly, both in singles and tag team. Ace eventually gets the win with the Fold. It was weird to write out the Fold and not the Art of the Fold, which is usually the double team name that I've given that to Ace of Bays and their finish. So a good match. They at one point mentioned that Zicky and Swingman could challenge for the tag titles if Zicky pinned Ace Austin in this match. And I sat there being like, yeah, let's do it. Come on. What's wrong with this? Let's go.
At this point, I don't care who it's against. Well, I do, because I'm here for the chaotic option. Why not let Swinger get the 50 wins? Why not have Swinger pin Maclin for the chaos?
Oh, let's go.
Everyone would be mad except me. This would be me. Yes, chaos. And then have Swinger lose to PCO?
Oh, I wouldn't even. You know what I would do? No, you'd have Swingman get the 50 wins, beat Maclin. They do a big celebration in the ring where everyone is just super confused but super happy for Swingman. And then the next show, next night, whatever, Swingman holding the title, cuts a passionate speech, says, "I've done it all." And then he lays the title on the ground and he just vanishes.
Oh my God, not the Allen time. We needed Johnny Swinger the most. He vanished.
Doesn't even leave the ring. He just suddenly whoosh.
Through the power of editing. Huzzah! Pocket sand.
I mean, Impact's done some pretty fun editing. During the pandemic was probably one of the best things to happen to Impact in terms of their editing crew, because they did one thing that I'll never forget. When they had Susie become Sue Young during the pandemic by having Susan come out, and they basically played the 3 roles in one shot. They were able to cut it together to make it look like there was a transition, a transformation. Things like that was really cool for Impact. But yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah, it turns into pocket sand.
Oldest trick in the book.
Anyway, that's the BTI match. It was fine. It was fun. It was a good opener. And then Impact opens with what I thought was a really good idea to do a video package promoting Rhino's history, not only in professional wrestling, but also with Impact, because he has been in and out of Impact Wrestling since almost its inception. So it really did make the title match build to Maclin versus Rhino a little bit bigger and a little bit more important. What do you think of the opening video package on Rhino?
I typically don't write down anything for the opener, even when they have down a bumper. I did think that this was a good idea. You try to make Rhino seem like a threat, because let's be for real. We all knew how that match was going to shake out. You just gave Maclin the title. You want to play hot potato with it? No thanks. I think that we all knew Maclin was going to beat up Rhino, but this made it feel like a big deal. This made it feel like, you know what, maybe, just maybe, because Rhino is known for doing the impossible sometimes. Maybe, just maybe, Rhino could beat Maclin. I'm glad it didn't go down that way, but I really liked how they put this video package in the beginning to make it special. I think Steve Maclin has a good run ahead of him. Forgotten no more.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, it adds credibility to the match, it adds credibility to Rhino as a wrestler, as a main event star. So this worked out. I was really happy for that. And then they got right into it. Masha Slamovich versus Killer Kelly. The show bookended by knockouts matches that were very good and very big time. So listen, Kelly opens up with the kinky stuff immediately. And I'm just like, yes, here we go. This is going to be the good stuff. Really good match. I know during the crossover you mentioned it, but for the audio people, let's just get right to it. The killer clutch is in on Masha, and Masha hits a roll through, goes off the turnbuckle and rolls through on Kelly. Kind of like what Shayna Baszler, when she would have the
Carafita clutch.
Clutch. Thank you. And then Kyrie would roll through and get the pin. Same thing happened here. Masha gets the pin on Killer Kelly, and then Kelly keeps the clutch in, and they're trying to play it off on commentary as if she choked out Masha. Masha's still kind of moving and kind of writhing around, but it looked good. And both women not only look good in the match, but Masha looks good with the win. Kelly looks good in defeat. Everybody kind of wins here, and it feels like we'll run it back again. Talk to me about the match. What'd you like? What'd you not like? And where do you think we're going with Kelly and Slamovich?
I did not dislike anything about that match. It's a great match, and I could see like these two have chemistry in the ring. That match was, first of all, stiff. From the beginning bell to people getting choked out at the end. That whole match was stiff. The stalling fisherman suplex from Killer Kelly on Masha Slamovich. First of all, I didn't even know you had that in you, Killer Kelly. I mean, I did, but I didn't. You know, I never seen it. So kudos to that. That was beautiful. Also with the deadlift from Masha Slamovich, I think Killer Kelly did something to old girl, or Masha did something to old girl where Masha was on top of Killer Kelly, and then or someone bridged up. She picked old girl up, had her in a backward electric chair, the dead eye, whatever it's called. I forgot what it is, and drops Killer Kelly on her neck. And Killer Kelly still gets up like, I'm not dead. I'm still here. I'm not dead. You can't kill me. Such a good match. So I know I wanted to see it, but I want to see it again and again and again. These two have such great chemistry.
Yeah, and it was something that we kind of expected, but we didn't know it would happen until they walked into the ring together. Kelly's headbutts look so good, and then the double underhook suplex that she hits into the turnbuckles look nasty, and then she follows it up with an even nastier hesitation basement dropkick. Stuff like that always gets my goat in wrestling, like in a good way, gets me going in wrestling. I love that stuff. The jackknife pin that Masha turned into an inverted pile driver.
That's what it was. Thank you.
That was beautiful. It was well executed. It was well done, and it looked dangerous, but in the best way, because it looked dangerous, not was dangerous.
Yeah.
Really good match. We talked about the finish. I look forward to seeing where these two go. It feels to me like Kelly's going to try and turn this into a championship opportunity just by saying, I may have lost, but I can choke out anybody. And then you get the babyface champion being like, anybody? So who knows? We'll see where it goes. But Masha, again, you gotta build up those wins for her, but you also have to do something with it, because we continue to kind of spin our wheels with Masha, where she is dominant until she gets to the big one, and then she can't win it. Maybe that's a turning point for her. Maybe that's going to be when she gets that knockouts championship match that she finally wins, and maybe that turns her babyface. Who knows? Maybe that's the story now.
I don't necessarily see Masha as a heel. I guess maybe I see her more as a tweener, because she's new and she's like, I'm focused. I know what I want. I'm going for the championship. I don't care if you're a good guy, you're a bad guy. If it takes me towards the championship, I'm going to do it. I don't necessarily see her as a back, but I could see what you're saying. It might turn her full on face. But again, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like we don't need to have Masha in the title scene to do something with her. Just like you said, have something of substance and meaning if we are.
To me, Masha's always been a heel. Aligned herself with heels. She's been a badass who doesn't speak English, which traditionally in wrestling means you're a heel, unless you're Japanese for some reason. Then
Russian menace, I understand.
Russian menaces. And then on top of that, she just the way she wrestles is very heelish. That being said, you look at how her character has evolved in GCW. She's Russian, but she is Russian with a New York adopted hometown. So she's very much a babyface as their champion right now. And I think people, if they start seeing how she operates in GCW, they'll start to maybe see, what she has potential to be an impact as a babyface champion. I don't know if that's something that they want to work on because Impact's really good at really accentuating your character and driving it up to 100. And this is her being Russian assassin at 100%, right? Nobody.
That's fair.
It's hard to believe that Masha is a Russian assassin, but it's also easy to believe that Masha in Impact is a Russian assassin.
That does make sense. I don't know if you've seen the video trailers or the movie trailer for the Machine. It's about this guy who did a comedy joke and he talked about how he was in Russia. All he knew how to say was the Machine. That's what she reminds me of. Like, you could go to a bar, she's gonna hit you over the head, be like, "Privet, comrade." Like, yes, hit me over the head again. Yes.
Was that the Brian Cage movie?
No. Okay.
I'm
Sidebar.
Kidding. I'm
kidding. Okay. Never mind. I'm about to tell you, like, no, this is totally comedian. I was like, Cresta, no.
I'm going to rein you back so we can talk about Kenny King and Sheldon Jean backstage. King approaches Jean as he's getting ready for his match with Nick Aldis. Says, you have an opportunity, a star-making opportunity. You take all this potential and you're going to turn it into something with substance. He says, and Nick Aldis is like looking past Sheldon Jean. He thinks that Sheldon Jean is being served up to him on a silver platter with a silver spoon for his fat mouth. Says, you have an opportunity to show you have teeth and ask yourself the question, what's in it for me? I still like the pairing. It feels like Kenny King is going to teach Sheldon Jean until a moment when Jean maybe turns on Kenny King and they start a little feud there. But for now, to get to King and Aldis, this is a very good bridge. The match between Jean and Aldis, we'll talk about in a minute. But what do you think about this backstager?
It was, like you said, very straight to the point. I do like the idea of Kenny King mentoring Sheldon Jean, but it's giving the moment y'all get together, it's only a matter of time before it's my master said, get yours, what's in it for you? And I don't want this plucky young man taking over. I'm here for it because I think, like you said, it'd be a great pairing, but until then, it'll be a war of attrition.
Yeah, exactly. Impact announced this week that they're going to be going down under. So they're going to be in Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, Australia, Friday, June 30th and Saturday, July the 1st. No announced TV. Hoping they do something. Not necessarily live because it's a 16-hour time difference and I'm tired. So if they do anything, I think we would see some TV or at least some matches announced. But it's exciting for them. I feel bad for anyone who's taking that plane ride, and I hope that everyone has bookings around those two dates.
I would go, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
I've been there. The flights are murder.
You've been to Australia? Yeah, 16 hours on a plane sounds hell.
And that's doing Toronto to LA. That's a 6-hour flight. It's about six.
That is about a 6-hour flight. Yeah. That's hell.
So you got that, and then you got to do LA to Sydney.
And that's the 16-hour, or is that just 10?
16-hour. No, that's 16-hour. So your transit is about 24. I was going for a gig, so I was going to be there for a few months.
Respected, but still. My God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You got to get ready for that flight. You got to get ready in every way imaginable.
Hell on earth. Hell on earth.
It is. Orion Ben sends a super chat. Thank you, saying Masha is Yelena from Hawkeye. I can get behind that.
Wait. All right, you talk about the show because I've never seen the show, but I do know Yelena sometimes in the comics becomes not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. She's the blonde version, and if that's what you mean, then yay, I could see it.
Gia Miller's backstage with Trinity. Trinity mentions the open contract for Under Siege, and then Trinity's like, I was caught off guard last week by Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and I'll be watching their tag team match tonight. And says, she's excited not just to talk, but for the talk. Go up against the knockouts and the best of the best. And then Jay Vidal walks up and takes a selfie. And I love that Trinity is like, she's like, suddenly she can strike the pose and then go back to it and be like, who's that guy? And
professionalism. Consummate professional.
Yes. Be like, who was that? And Gia Miller be like, oh yeah, no, he works here.
The way I see, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying good little segment between these two. And it clearly means we're getting to what I've talked to Jeremy about on In the Weeds over on Fightful Overbooked, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, by the way. We talked about the first opponent for Trinity. That wasn't Kylan King. And I said the first big opponent has got to be Giselle Shaw, because if you're making Trinity the biggest white meat baby face you can, you got to give her the biggest heel you've got, and that's Giselle.
I agree. When Jay Vidal came out, I'm like, oh, so we getting Giselle Shaw. And somebody had said in my chat, or if it was this chat or last week's chat, I said, can't wait for that Trinity Giselle Shaw starter feud. I'm like, damn, you had to say it like that, but I'm not mad. I think Giselle has improved so much that, let's just say, now I'm just putting out in hypotheticals, and I'm not saying this is true, but let's just say Trinity got ring rust. Let's just say Trinity is not as hyped up as she used to be. Giselle, I think, is in a position to have a great match with her regardless of that. I think Giselle is going to bring out the best in her. Now, again, I'm taking worst case scenario, I don't think Trinity is trash. I don't think that. I think she's probably really good and probably a lot better than what we saw in WWE. Giselle Shaw is the right one to do it with, because you've seen where she's come from. Her elbows, her knee strikes are very stiff, and I feel like it'll put fans in a perspective of Trinity has to adjust. If you've watched Trinity before, you've never seen her wrestle like a stiff match. And not for nothing, almost everyone in Impact wrestles stiff. So I think Giselle is a great start. You don't want to put her up against a Masha right away. Chill out. Hey. Chill out.
And also the storytelling with Giselle is just perfect.
Yeah. Giselle is so funny.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be some good comedy, and there's going to be some... The diva stuff will play into their story. And it's not a bad thing, because the quintessential diva, Giselle Shaw, is going to say, I'm more diva than you ever were. And Trinity's going to be like, well, I was one of the OG divas. I was the total diva, so on and so forth. And again, you can do that story and still know that these two women are going to absolutely kick ass in the ring in a match.
That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. It's
going to be good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure they'll get to that announcement in the next couple of days, or maybe next week on Impact Wrestling. Sheldon Jean versus Nick Aldis. Let's finally get into this. Kenny King is on commentary, and he gets awkward with Tom Hannafin. I love it. They're incorporating the BTI commentary that Kenny King walked in on when he was having his match with Channing Decker. Tom Hannafin was putting over Nick Aldis. King had walked over and been like, why are you talking about him? Why are you talking about that scrub? So I like they're continuing that story. It's really, really good. Just little seeds here and there that get planted. This is Aldis's first match in Impact Wrestling on TV in 6 years, they say. That's good stuff. And Kenny King says, Nick Aldis isn't all that at all.
Bless Kenny King's heart. He's a clown.
So good.
I live.
So good.
But he's a clown. He's a clown. Kenny King is a clown. He's one of those people that if he was just on commentary, I'd spend more time laughing at him and Gia Miller. I'd spend more time laughing at commentary than what's going on in the ring.
I hear you. So Gene gets in some good early offense, and Aldis is selling for the kid. That's great stuff. I'm really good and happy to see that Nick Aldis is here to play, right? He's not here to just take over Impact Wrestling and become the champion on his first night in. And then eventually the lack of experience on Gene's part comes to hit him and bite him in the ass. Nick Aldis catches up, hits that big top rope elbow, and then the Kingsland Cloverleaf gets a submission victory. And he's looking back at Kenny King. And then King's like, I'll give Aldis props. He deserves that victory. But Sheldon Jean's no Kenny King. We'll see what happens when Aldis faces Kenny King if he gets that opportunity. Again, match was good. Do you have anything to add as we kind of march forward to Kenny King versus Nick Aldis at Under Siege, presumably?
Nick Aldis's gear was great. That Queensland Cloverleaf was beautiful. Like literally, I went to go get something out of my kitchen. I came back and he was in the Cloverleaf and the match was over. Sorry.
Yeah. That was it. It was a quick match. Sheldon Jean, though, I'm looking forward to having a chat with him in the very near future. I think he's a great talent. He's got a great story. He's still young in his career, but there's so much opportunity and there's a lot more story to tell. So him getting into the ring for Nick Aldis's first Impact TV match in 6 years, that's a big deal. That's true. They put a lot of trust in Sheldon Jean to make Aldis look good, and at the same time, it was expected that Nick would help Sheldon Jean look good and sell a little bit there. So again, both men look good, and Kenny King was the clown that he is, so everything worked out.
It worked out. It was great. 10 out of 10. We recommend. Go watch it.
Speaking of clowns, we're in the back with Dango and Hendry, and Dango's talking about what would become his birthday party.
This was the best sports entertainment, I gotta say too.
It was so bad it's good. A former Fightful Overbook show. Anyway. And then in walks Swingman and Zicky Dice, or at least Zicky Dice wheels in Johnny Swinger as always. The two had their win taken away from Santino, so clearly that means they attacked Santino, and then Zicky Dice turns it around on Joe Hendry and says, Santino upstaged you at Rebellion. It must have hurt your big old ego, Joe Hendry. And then Dango steps in and he says, no, you know what? You're not going to make fun of my friend. It's you and I. Swingman versus Dirty Dango. And Swingman's like, you can't make that match. Dango's like, you called my bluff, but I know someone who can. So he calls Santino. And Santino sounds like a weird old woman on the phone. I don't know what that was. And also there's a weird sound going on in the background. It's like creaking. And I think what it is the thing that Swingman's standing on, the cart. I think it's just creaking back and forth.
It's the best worst. I mean, how many more WWE WrestleMania 3 rings do you need, Johnny Swinger? Come on now.
Anyway, Santino makes the match, Dango versus Swingman. And then as Swingman and Zicky Dice walk out, they're talking about the birthday party again. And Hendry's like, all right, what time does it start? And he's like, well, it doesn't matter when you show up. It's just you and me. And Hendry's just like, oh, God.
Poor Joe Hendry. It went from being yucks to, yo, I'm about to turn heel on you. Leave me alone. I don't want to go heel, but I'm about to do with a lead pipe. I'm about to Sammy Callahan moose you. What's wrong with you, Dango?
I didn't really care for the Frankie Kazarian Part 3 video. Listen, it was like, you came back to Impact, now what? And he's like, yeah, I won the X Division Championship, cash in option C. I stood up to Bully Ray, basically recapping everything he's done since he came back. And then he's like, I'm going to be in the #1 contender match at Under Siege, and I'm going to be a champion again. And it's like, okay, at this point, now I think you should start rolling these videos on socials instead of on the TV show. I'm kind of just done with Kazarian. I don't know if you liked this particular video compared to the other two or just in general, or if you have anything to add about the Kazarian Part 3.
My only note is he said, I'm still focused on the championship. So far, the first one was the only one where I was like, wow, he came in hot. It was like, pretty much it was F Dixie Carter. The first one, it came in hot. The other one, okay, all right, makes sense. Did my thing in AEW, all right. This one was just kind of like, I'm still focused on it. I get what you're saying. Not now at this point. How many more parts do we have left? If it's 3 or 4, I guess we've already done 3, so we got 1 more to do. And if it's 5, we got 2 more to do. That's not too terrible. Not the worst.
I think that was the last one, to be honest with you.
I mean, then it's not terrible. It didn't overstay.
He has a match next week. So he's in the 6-man tag match with the 6 men who are in the Under Siege #1 contendership match. So they're doing a 6-man tag, and he's part of that. So fine, if that was the last video, that's okay. But this one, honestly, it could have been a social only thing.
I agree. I felt like there was a lot of nothing said. Yeah. But maybe I have to fill time. I don't know.
I mean, they clearly did because the show went off the air at 9:55 Eastern.
That's true.
So they're on a run of that. Next match, Crazy Steve and Black Taurus Decay. They take on Hotch and Skyler, the Good Hands. Good Hands come out and say the crowd is familiar with Decay, but he means that dumpster fire known as the city of Chicago.
Boo! That's not nice. You gotta stop.
I'm a big fan of it. And then says Decay must be crazy because the Cubs have a better chance of winning the World Series than they do beating the Good Hands. Well, that ended up being true. Hannafin mentioning Bully Ray, and Bully Ray gets a bunch of mentions tonight. Kazarian mentions Bully Ray. Tom mentions Bully Ray. Musa Myers mentioned Bully Ray. The Good Hands mentioned Bully Ray. The Under Siege poster includes Bully Ray, including the fallout from Under Siege. I was starting to think Bully Ray might be coming back after Under Siege.
Yeah. Now that you said that, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of Bully Ray mention. And it sounds about right. If he does come back, I don't know in what capacity. I don't really want it.
X Division champion Bully Ray.
Off of Trey Miguel might actually shoot him. He might Arn Anderson it. Trey Miguel right now might actually shoot him. I mean, it's also Impact. So Trey Miguel might actually shoot you.
It works. But anyway, again, good match. Torres drop kicked John Skyler in the taint. Cresta star.
Yam back surprise, baby.
Man, right in the taint, right in that the connector piece. And anyway, whatever. Brian Myers comes out mid of the match and then takes out Crazy Steve on the floor, lays out Torres across the top rope. Skyler picks up Torres in a fireman's carry. Hotch hits the sideways blockbuster. It's a fun, high-flying match. And this is really just to set up Myers taking the good hands under the wing, and the learning tree might be back, but VSK is over in Ring of Honor, so we're not going to get the actual learning tree. What do you think of the match, and what do you think of Myers taking the good hands under his wing in the absence of Bully Ray?
I am going to answer that in reverse order. I don't hate Brian Myers doing the learning tree thing again with these guys. I don't hate it. However, I mean, Brian Myers, what did VSK do? Quickly. They didn't do anything. They just went to Ring of Honor. You know, so yeah. And Skyler and Hotch, who used to work for Bully? I mean, Myers, you got questionable allegiance, but Bully Ray? And now you got to deal with Moose. Moose, who's the Randy Orton of Impact, who will burn your house down and do this house. Yeah, I don't think you thought before you just decided to help somebody. And I wouldn't trust the good hands. I feel like the good hands would turn on me. And I feel like you're good. Go ahead.
I don't think the good hands know how to turn anything.
Now, Joel. I mean, I don't know. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I don't know. What you gonna do when Bully come back? Were you gonna use the good hands to put them in a position for a title shot and then tell them, hey, I got you this title shot? It's giving I didn't think this through here. And hey, Brian Myers, I get that shit thing. I get it. You don't think things through. Anyway, to add to your question about the match was good. We all love a good bite. I do like how commentary was like, you can't bite in Chicago. Hey, that's obviously a brawl out joke. Please get it. If you don't, anywho, it was funny. I liked it. It was great. It was an easy, very simple match. Crazy Steve doing the Undertaker setup to bite them in the hands. Hilarious. Favorite part of the match. I love Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. Just sucks that they lost.
Well, if you don't want to be a loser, go ahead and subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business. Come on, man. If you want the I love the first thing that's on my list of what to plug for Select goes back to what we just talked about, the biting. CM Punk return news and who his first opponent he's pitched. That's number one on my Fightful Select pitch list. And of course, AEW and their TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery and all the news of Collision and the announcement and the upfronts next week. All that stuff is on Fightful Select. What we know, what we don't know, what's been talked about, what's been rumored, all that stuff. FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business. An update on the ROH regulars, an update on Trinity Fatu, Trinity as she is in Impact Wrestling, how long she's sticking around, at least for now. And of course, you've got Shawn's Q&A. You've got Sour Graps with Alex Pulaski and Miss Kate Fabe if you want, every Monday and Friday night. And of course, Coexisting After Dark. This week, they've got Issa, also known as Demon Diva. She is on the show. She's going to be talking about her experience in Puerto Rico over at WWE Backlash last week. So go ahead, best $5 in the business, FightfulSelect.com. That's all. That's my plug, because now we got to talk about some world title action. But before we get there, Maclin's in the back with Shira and Singh, and he's like, I don't want to hear excuses. I blame you both for me having to defend this title against Rhino tonight. Maclin is saying their business relationship is over, and Singh's like, we can't let this partnership with the world champion slip through our fingers. Singh's like, we got to have an idea. I have an idea. They go to break, they come back, and you've got Shira and Singh attacking Heath, who, of course, is Rhino's friend, tag team partner. They share a double wide together. They have Cheez-Its and crackers, if you know, from 2016.
Oh, my God.
And then Rhino comes in and he wants to avenge Heath, but of course, coincidentally, and just so happens that his match is, oh my God, it's right now. So Rhino's got to go and compete in the match against Maclin for the World Championship. Do you have anything to talk about with this segment before we go into the match itself?
Shira, Singh, you should have just paid somebody else to do it, girl. Because at that point, it's what you say about the good hands, how they couldn't turn a page. You guys can win money, but you can't win matches, man. And you taking out Heath is gonna do what? Say, hey, well, guess what, Maclin, we helped you. Do you think Macklin's gonna give you a title shot? Bet it. Either you think you're gonna beat Maclin, be for real. Be for real. Okay, that's what I thought. That's my answer.
Rhino Maclin for the World Championship. They do the power game, and of course, Rhino wins that easy, and Macklin's surprised. Rhino sets it for the gore. Maclin rolls out onto the floor. I didn't realize this, but the top rope headbutt that Maclin does, he calls it the jar headbutt, and I think that's just the best name. He misses it, and then Rhino gets his comeback, hits a big superplex, but Maclin, with the disrespect, gores Rhino, retains the championship, walks over Rhino after the match, and then post-match, Maclin attacks Rhino, slams his head on the steps, grabs the steel chair, goes after the knee and the throat, and then gets the shovel, PCO's most prized possession, and he starts whacking that chair that's across Rhino's knee over and over again. It's wild. It's intense. And then we go, well, there's a break and stuff happens back. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's talk about first what happened in the match, and then we can talk about what happened in the post-match until we go outside, and we'll catch up there. Cresta, let's talk.
Match, fine, predictable. That's okay. We knew Maclin was going to win this. That's okay. Beating old boy with the gore, nice touch. Didn't expect that because that was rude as hell. I want to echo what Righteous Reg and Kate said earlier on the post show for Ring of Honor. We have a stupid babyface problem in professional wrestling. I thought we all hated Steve Maclin. The same thing I thought we all hated Bully Ray. So you see him wilding out on Rhino, who's consistently everybody's friend and checks notes. No one comes out to help him. It takes till we go outside for him to actually get some help. You couldn't come in earlier, PCO? Even if Heath is down, nobody else is friends with Heath? Like, I'm sorry, my mouth is drooling. I really don't have the facilities to lick them, bruv. These mustaches is on here today. They're not coming off, but Jesus Christ. Like, I don't get it. Like, I thought we hated Maclin. I thought Maclin said F Canada. And not Ring of Honor, Impact is full of Canadians. Full of them. So nobody can come out and save old boy. That's my only critique. It made sense. You're a jerk. You're trying to prove a point, especially to seem strong against someone who feel pain. I feel that. But I did not like that in particular. Again, like with Bully Ray when he's beating on people, I thought we hate this guy. Jump him. But whatever.
Yeah. No, I there's nothing I can add. You're absolutely right. Then during the break, they do the stretcher spot for Rhino. They load him up. Scott D'Amore accompanies Rhino to the ambulance that's outside. Maclin confronts Scott D'Amore, and then they argue, and Maclin makes the Under Siege match against PCO a no DQ match. And then somehow, some way, as Macklin's going to go beat up Rhino more in the ambulance, out comes PCO from the back of the ambulance and attacks Maclin. Maclin gets away at another retreat, cowardly heel. And now for the next 2 weeks, we get to hear PCO shout, Maclin!
PCO, you're a real one. You got hit by a car, walked back to Vegas, and you still fighting Maclin. I don't understand how that happened. You lost to Eddie Edwards. Like, how is PCO even in this? I get that Scott D'Amore's going to have you face a Canadian. Okay. PCO? Okay.
It's going to be a good match, though. Especially
you're right.
Now that it's no DQ, it's going to be even more wild, and I'm so fun. That again, it's playing to the strengths of these two men. It's doing what they did with going back to Bully Ray and Josh Alexander at Hard to Kill, where everyone was like, "No, this is awful. This sucks," and then they made it a hardcore match, And everyone was just like, okay, now I get it now. This is going to be fun. It's a weapons match. So this has the potential to be just as fun. Again, outcome is not really in question, but the match itself, if it's memorable and it's worked well, people are going to enjoy it and people are going to talk about it. And that's kind of what's most important early on in a title reign like this.
Maclin just needs to come to the ring with holy water.
The
power of Christ compelled, not my bottle being invisible, but yeah, you get the point. You get the point.
I'm a Jew. Holy water being invisible just makes sense. Joe Hendry.
That's funny. I can't repeat that, but that is funny. Joel, that's funny.
You're welcome.
That's funny.
Joe Hendry comes out, and Cresta, we haven't seen Joe Hendry in like a flat camera shot. I wish I had taken a screenshot. He says, my nose is deviated 1.8 centimeters to the left. And you can see it. Like, you can see that it's like, it's off center. It was gnarly, and that's fixed. And he says, for most athletes, that would be a career ender. But I got Michael Jordan on the phone, and he said, Joe, don't go out there and cut that promo tonight. And he says, Michael, you're the expert on shoes, but Joe Hendry, I'm the expert on pro wrestling. And then he introduces Dirty Dango as I mute myself so that this train can go by. Go ahead, talk.
Live your best life, because I have a train going by in my background too. So there's just trains all day. Joe Hendry didn't look that bad to me, but then again, I have sin in my heart and lust in my eyes when I look at Joe Hendry. What is this photo, Joel? Furthermore, the fact that he was like, this would have ended any wrestler's career, but not mine, because I'm Joe Hendry. I'm like, oh, your sacrifice. Thank you, Joseph Hendry. Your sacrifice will go down in the annals of wrestling history. Screw Kurt Angle wrestling with a broken freaking neck. Screw people wrestling with their ankles dangling like this or doing the count with their ankles like this. You with your deviated septum, such a hero.
He is our hero. And by the way, that photo is not one that I picked. It was there when I got here. For the audio listeners, you just have to go back and watch us. Dango versus Swingman, the quick one. Dango gets a side Falcon Arrow, does it quick, gets the win before you know it. And then we got a humper chat from Amanda B saying, just sending you to love. And also, I want Zicky and Swingman to win some matches.
Same. At this point, they're the Dark Order of Impact Wrestling. We love them. We like them together. Just give them some damn wins, man.
Come on, let them be champions. Let them be our champion.
I honestly, at first, like I said, I wasn't a fan, but Joel put me onto it. And plus, not Zicky Dice. Johnny Swinger has the best music. I need to. Yeah, such good music. Such good shit.
It's real good. So we're backstage, Dina and Design. I loved this segment. And if it didn't go the way that it did, I would have been like, it's boring. This sucks. But instead, we have Diener at the front of the camera saying Callahan had a chance to be part of something bigger than himself, but he chose betrayal, and that got him pain and suffering, a bat to the skull and a face to the mat. And if you continue down that path, it will bring more pain and more suffering. You will have nothing. Whereas Diener, I have my family and an army of men who will follow me to the ends of the earth and will snap, and at the snap of a finger will cause suffering. And then all of a sudden, so all the yellow jackets kind of fly in, not the TV show, but they're all wearing yellow hoodies. Anyway, so all of a sudden you start hearing a commotion in the background, and there's two guys fighting the yellow jackets, wearing the yellow jackets. And it's Sami Callihan, and we play Rich Swann as well. And they're beating, and all of a sudden security shows up. So in like the middle of this intense pre-tape, you have these two guys infiltrate the Design and just beat the shit out of everyone. I loved it, Cresta. The commotion and the crash worked for me, and it actually made this an interesting story for once. What did you think of this backstage?
Not bad at all. I do like, I think I mentioned this before about the Bully Ray promo, the way that it was shot with the camera down and old boy up. So it looked very menacing. It made Alan Angels in the back look very tall. Kaun's already like 9'9". That made that man look astronomical tall. And when the Yellow Jackets started fighting, in my mind, I was like, are you cutting this promo to only kidnap Rich Swann? I thought they kidnapped Rich Swann at first, because he said, now you asking for help. No one's going to help you. I was like, oh, you kidnapped this man. That's smart. That's smart. But then it was these two in the back. Now, I feel two ways about it. One, I agree with you. It's really good. Oh, yeah, come on, Sammy. Get your comeuppance. On the other hand, Rich Swann, what the hell are you doing? Sami Callihan, I get y'all. Sometimes not. But every time, much like being friends with Charlotte Flair, you get screwed, bro. Every time. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, every time. It's a tale as old as time. You help Sami Callihan. It goes cool for 2 weeks after that. And then he's like, yeah, get out of here. So it's like, I get it. You're friends, but... And also, you're going to need more than just Rich Swann. And who likes Sami Callihan? I keep going back to Reno Scum, but there's OVE was after that. But my mind just keeps bringing up Reno Scum.
So, once upon a time.
Not long ago, you were a hoe?
No.
I'm sorry.
When Sami came back, there was a group in Impact. Well, like it's not just Impact. It's they've been around, and it's sorry, I'm having a moment. OVE, Ohio versus everything. You can bring back one of those guys.
Yes, I know the other guy needs to set himself on fire, not literally, but figuratively.
So Jake Crest might be a good option.
Is his name Jake something on the Indies now?
No, it's still Jake Crest.
Okay.
Jake something is someone that I'm trying to talk to for an interview. That's someone else. That's something else. Waka waka.
Rich Swann did a double cross on Sami one time. Everybody gets one, but it's always Sami Callihan. I like him, but it's always Sami.
If it's Jake Crest as the third guy, I think there's a good story there. There's good history there. You can bring that up and let it ride. I don't know if Jake wants to be a larger part of Impact Wrestling, but at least have him back for one go.
I mean, and if that doesn't work out at this point, Frankie Kazarian is charity, so you might as well get him.
Well, Kaz has other stuff to do right now, at least at Under Siege.
So people wrestle 3 matches in one night. So
fair. Moose and Myers are backstage. Moose comes up to Brian Myers and says, "Hey, why did you help the Good Brothers?" And then Moose says, I could be world champion and we could be tag champs at the same time. You know that, right? And Myers is like, no. I'm going to mentor the Good Hands. I'm gonna mold them into tag champions. And Moose is like, you got to get your priorities straight. And he walks off. And then Myers says, I was once a good hand, but I need you to be coachable. And then I'm going to mold you into the next tag team champions. And then the Good Hands are just like, yeah, let's do that. So good little thing, good little segment. There's not much else to add unless you want to talk about Moose and Myers.
I mean, I think Myers brought up a good point where he's like, you tell me I got to get my priorities straight. Bro, you're in the world heavyweight title contender match. You didn't think about Myers, bro. So if you could do both, why can't I? Moose gonna turn on Myers. Myers, why you trust Moose? Why does anyone trust Moose? Why does anyone trust Moose?
I want to go back because the chat's talking about Jake something. I want to go back about that Diener design, Rich Swann and Sami Callihan. So yes, chat, it's true. Jake something was once a part of Impact Wrestling. He was Jake Diener. He was
cousin Jake.
He was cousin Jake. And then he became Jake something for a short amount of time before he departed Impact Wrestling. When I interviewed Cody Diener at the end of last year, my last question to him was, hey, would you and Jake ever work together again? And he was like, if the money's right. And so I'm not saying it's a no, but it would be one hell of an experience if Jake something came back for that.
I like the Dieners. I remember when I used to watch Impact, I really liked, they were just out there. You were rednecking it. Oh, it's kind of the same reason why I like the Briscoes when they were together. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. But y'all were rednecking it up, and I was here for it. Even if you lost, you were still like, all right, that's the beer. We'll get her done. So I wouldn't hate it. Who was that? If we're talking about who was that tall guy from Reno Scum who had like the cheetah print hair? Because that's who I always go back to. Like, is that the person who should set themselves on fire? Am I lost? Am I thinking of the wrong person?
Set themselves on fire.
That's what I say for anyone who does questionable things within professional wrestling.
Oh, Luster. So first of all, it's Luster the Legend, and I don't think that was a thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they left Impact in 2021, so they haven't really been active since. Actually, that's a lie. I think they have been active since. But anyway, not important. Reno Scum. Listen, you keep bringing up Reno Scum. I don't
That's
know
the only thing I really remember. Reno Scum, Su Young. Before I started doing this Impact for real, it was Reno Scum, Su Young, who shot Johnny Bravo.
Who shot Johnny? I mean, that's one of my favorites. I still use that video from time to time.
And I mean, speaking of who shot Johnny Bravo, we did Johnny Swingers segment earlier. That's like, didn't you murder a man? Isn't that your accomplice? Johnny Swingers said, I got extradited, baby. Anybody else hot?
We're fully off the rails as always. Next week on the show, Trey Miguel and Laredo Kid, Moose Edwards and Frankie Kazarian take on Shelly Grisham and Yurumura. Kazarian working on the Moose Edwards side of things is weird.
That was weird. That was very that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
It doesn't. But anyway, that's how they're doing it. Knockouts Tag Team Champions, the Coven, take on Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace. This is the main event of the show. Again, an episode that's bookended by the knockouts, and I love it. Match is fine. This is a good match. Grace and Kylan King have good early chemistry. Deonna comes in, gets tagged in, gets beat down mid-match by the Coven, get that babyface shine going. Wild starts slowing things down. Grace comes back in. Eventually, she gets a double team power bomb onto the apron and tossed into the ring, and then King slams Wild. King slams Wild onto Grace and gets the 2 count. Eventually, Jordynne Grace gets the return, gets the muscle buster on Wild. It's broken up by King at 2.9. They do the brawl outside with Deonna and King. And then, of course, they do the miscommunication spot as expected, where Jordynne Grace is going into the ropes as Deonna's trying to climb back onto the apron. So she gets knocked back down. And eventually it all ends with a double team kind of pump kick finish. Wild pins Jordynne Grace. They retain the Knockouts tag titles. What do you think of the match? And then we can talk about a little. Well, we might as well just talk about the post-match. They do the beatdown, and out comes Trinity. Trinity does the beatdown, makes a save, kicks Kylan King in the face, and then Luthez press to Wild, gets those fists a la Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then the rear view to Kylan King to end the night.
It was a good match. I liked how commentary kept putting over Purrazzo and Grace. How they coexist, but they were coexisting pretty well, literally up until that running the ropes and knocking Purrazzo off the ring. Can we talk about Kylan King? Well, let me say Kylan. Can we talk about the Coven, who watches all wrestling products? Because they were cheating this match. Every time you turn around, Kylan King got her foot in the ring. She's stepping on someone, a thumb to the eye. Kylan King out here was cheating people out their boots. I ain't mad at it. And it also added to early in the night, the Impact throwback of the week was Taylor Wilde and Rosita winning the Knockouts champion for the first time. So to me, that was all right. I didn't believe that Purrazzo and Grace were going to win. That to me solidified to show you that where Wild has been and how far she's come, and she's still just as good. I like the pairing of her and Kylan King. Sometimes the tarot stuff could be a little much, whatever. It was the right choice to have them win. At the post-match, though, it just makes me want to see Trinity wrestle beforehand. Even if it's against like a Kylan King or a Taylor Wilde. It'll obviously be Giselle Shaw, but it's like, do we have to wait till Under Siege? Granted, if I'm looking at my calendar now, that's in 2 weeks. I don't want to wait 2 weeks. Give me what I want.
It's going to be Trinity and Kylan King next week. They haven't officially announced it, but I mean, they taped the match. It was promoted.
I know I saw her wrestling in some people's things. I was like, maybe I'm on drugs.
No, you're fine. And again, I'm not really spoiling anything because A, it was promoted by Impact Wrestling, and B, listen, you can find it anywhere you look on socials. But I don't need to tell you who won the match. But the point being here, they are going to have Trinity wrestle on TV going into Under Siege. So Trinity and Kylan King is the match. And by all accounts, it was real good. So I'm looking forward to that. Trinity busting out the rear view was fun. I think that there is a lot more offense that you're going to see out of Trinity that you haven't seen before. That's not just the traditional WWE way that she used to wrestle when she was Naomi. So that's the good news.
Yes.
And on top of it, she's inserted herself right at the top of the Knockouts division. This is one way to do it. She's a huge star. She's bringing in some eyeballs, which is great. And this was the way to do it. But Deonna and Jordynne Grace fall short of the tag titles. They can't coexist. And at least it didn't end with them brawling. It just ended with a miscommunication and a bad move to tease a little bit of dissension going into Under Siege. And that's okay too.
Maybe there's need to coexist after Doc with Rob and Maggie. Fightful Select. Fightful Overbooked. Come on with the plugs, Cresta Stars.
It's good. I like how you did that.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'll be here all year. I'll see you next year.
We'll be back here next Thursday. Soon enough, Cresta is going to be here every Saturday. Cresta, I think we're done here. I think we can get out of here. And next week, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling as always. So go ahead. Tell them what's going on, what you got going.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as always, thank you so much for being here. I have a good time when you're here with me and Joe Pearl every Monday, Wednesdays. I'm not even going to include Fridays anymore. I'll be live on either TikTok or Twitch, Cresta Star. You can look me up there, and I'm at 8 p.m. Monday Night Raw, Wednesday Night Dynamite. Thursdays, I am here with Joe Pearl. We cover everything that happens on Impact Wrestling. Fridays, sometimes I stream wrestling. Sometimes I watch RuPaul. I don't know what's happening. And when Collision comes out, I will be live here on Fightful, myself, and I forgot everyone else's names because I have Alzheimer's and I'm 4,000 years old. I can't even remember what my name is today sometimes. And I can't wait. We're going to be turning up, talking about AEW, and I can't wait to be there with you. You can find me everywhere on the internet, Cresta D Star, Linktree in my bio. I love you. I'm going to be done talking. Joe Pearl, where can they find you?
Your tag team partners are Iridian and Riccacino. They're both great, by the way.
If they're watching this, like, damn, I hate this girl. She's a D.
I'm gonna clip this and just show them and be like, this is who you get to work with. Good luck.
Listen, for what it's worth, I already love you guys. You don't know me, but I already love you. Come here, bring it.
It's gonna be a weird couple of weeks. As always, I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Go over to Fightful Overbooked. Myself, Jeremy Lambert. We have this show called In the Weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Easy for me to say. It's late at 10 a.m. until noon. See, this is the difference. When I do a show in the morning, I'm perfectly okay. When I do a show in the evenings, game over. I'm exhausted. Either way, check out In the Weeds Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern over on Fightful Overbooked. And of course, Kate and I are live every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern talking about a week in wrestling, just spitballing, just having a good time. We don't do anything, we take the piss out of everything. So come and join us. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.